wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. You can listen to the show anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. You can watch the show. Super Talk TV is up and running. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. Hell of a weekend, huh? Just bad news story after bad news story after bad news story. Rather alarming. To come in on a Monday with this many dark and depressing news stories to cover. Yet here we are. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't pay much attention to the news over the weekend. You see, I try to unplug after I get off the air on Fridays, so that way I'm not too deep into the news. And I did. I unplugged pretty well over the weekend, and I think that you have to do that for your own mental health. But Friday, we were celebrating. We got the Club Americas and the Tennessee partnership with Turning Point USA. And my wife was with me, and we went to In-N-Out Burger. That was one of Charlie's favorite spots when we worked at Turning Point USA. We used to do In-N-Out Fridays, where Charlie and the company would pay for In-N-Out Burger on Friday, and it felt really great. It was like it felt full circle for us after the Tennessee Turning Point USA partnership. And that was kind of like the last time I had thought about the news. I had to go get my windshield replaced. Shout out to my friend Chris Ivey at Ultimate Auto Glass. He did a fantastic job. And then we were done with the news. We got to hang out. We went to Brian Wilson's Christmas party. And it wasn't until I was at Brian Wilson's Christmas party that I even knew what was going on with the news. I was there with Dan and Joan and Brian, and they said, "Did you hear what happened?" I said, I hadn't heard anything. And then it just snowballed very quickly after that. Brown University, Sydney, Australia, what happened in Syria. Rob Reiner, oh my gosh. How awful is that? Now, I just think it's important to point out with the Rob Reiner thing, when Charlie was assassinated, the leftists rejoiced. When one of the biggest offenders with TDS is ruthlessly murdered by his own child, conservatives said that's heartbreaking. And pray for him and the family, especially right before the holidays, during the holidays. And that's awful. That's an awful way to go. And we just hope that God wraps that family up in comfort, and all the families that are grieving today. It's not limited to Rob Reiner. It seems like it's a global bit of grief. Again, from Sydney, Australia to Brown University to Syria. We lost some good people. And for what? For what? President Trump spoke about this over the weekend.
I want to just pay my respects to the people. Unfortunately, 2 are no longer with us. Brown University, 9 injured, and 2 are looking down on us right now from heaven. And likewise in Australia, as you know, that was a terrible attack, 11 dead, 29 badly wounded. And that was an anti-Semitic attack, obviously. And I just want to pay my respects to everybody. I must say in Syria also, we had an attack in Syria. and we had 3 great patriots terminated by bad people, and not the Syrian government. It was ISIS. Syrian government fought by our side. The new president fought by our side. But I just want to pay my respects to the families. We also had 3 injured, but 2 of them are already out of the hospital, and one's going to be okay. But we lost 3, so it was a rough day. But to Australia and the Prime Minister, to everybody that we know so well, we get along with so well.
Yeah, rough weekend. Rough weekend. I don't know how you can call it any other way. It was a tough weekend for quite a lot of people. Let's begin with Sydney, Australia. Father-son duo, jihad on the mind. The terrorist duo who killed at least 15 during a Bondi Beach Hanukkah celebration on Sunday were previously investigated by Australian intelligence for ties to the so-called Islamic State. ISIS flags found in their car after the apparent attack. It's wild, but not exactly shocking. This is what happens when you import the third world. It's generational. You might see a dad come in and gain citizenship, and then he has a family, and then those ideals, that ideology is passed down. And I think that's what we saw in Australia. Speaking to reporters on Monday, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said the suspected terrorist Naveed Akram, 24, first came to the attention of authorities in 2019 and had been the focus of a 6-month investigation by the ASIO, Domestic Intelligence Agency, over alleged tie to a local Australian ISIS group. He was examined on the basis of being associated with others, and the assessment was made that there was no indication of any ongoing threat or threat of him engaging in violence, Albanese said per the Sydney Morning Herald. The paper reported that Akram, who was injured during the attack and remains in police custody, was initially flagged for allegedly accessing extremist content online and consorting with other radicals. Public broadcaster ABC reported that intelligence officials had tied him to ISIS terrorist Isaac El Matari, who is currently in prison for plotting a jihadist insurgency in Australia. Additionally, Joint Counterterrorism Team, JCTT, is reported to have believed that Naveed and his father, Sajid Akram, who died during the attack on Sunday, had previously pledged allegiance to ISIS. Despite this, the New South Wales police and the left-wing Albanese government have yet to cite radical Islam as the motivating factor behind the attack. Shocker. Shocked. They're actually very concerned with the far right, and we'll bring you some of that audio on the way. It's insane. Police confirmed that the attackers were father and son. ISIS flag found in the car. Malcolm Lanyon, the commissioner of New South Wales Police, said the older of the 2 gunmen had a license for the 6 weapons and added that there were guns found to have been used, and that these were the guns found to have been used in the attack. He also said that 2 explosive devices had been found and were taken away by a bomb disposal unit and rendered safe. He said the IEDs were fairly basic in terms of construction, saying that he's very glad that those devices were not activated. Mr. Lanyon also said that the properties in the Campsie and Bonnyrigg areas of the city had been searched. At a press conference, he said that reports that a black ISIS flag was draped over the attacker's car would form part of the investigation. He added that police were confident that there was not a third person involved in the attack, and he said earlier that one of the offenders had been known to authorities, but there had been no specific threat. So they knew the guy. They were well aware of the guy. Whoops. Our bad. Insane. They were at it for, 10 to 20 minutes? And the witnesses on the scene said that the police were frozen. And I'm sure that you've seen the videos on the internet where and pictures where you have female police officers who are hiding behind cars while this terror attack is going on. Insane. Eyewitness from the attack breaking down what happened.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yes, there was 2 shooters, one on the bridge, one under the bridge. Just start to shoot for 20 minutes. They shoot, change magazine and just shoot. Simple as that. 20 minutes with 4 policemen there. Nobody give fire back. Nothing. Like they are froze. Like for it looked like 20 minutes, and they shoot the guy change magazine. I look at him all the time. I was with two of my babies under me, and I look at that, and it's just rifle and a pistol, and just shoot. And the other one was under. They start to come close to the audience. I think one of the people took his rifle and shoot him. That's one of them. That's what I saw. I didn't know how much I saw, but...
Who were they targeting?
Oh, all the crowd. Anyone. Jewish. Just shoot. Doesn't matter who.
They were targeting everyone. The police didn't return fire. 20 minutes, he says. And that's, that's up for debate because things are all blurred together. Anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. Police just staring, waiting. It wasn't until one heroic Australian guy took action. Did you see that? Just an incredible moment. This guy who I don't know. You tell me. Formal training or not? I haven't heard too much about that. But you see the attacker opening fire, shooting, and this guy is hiding behind a couple cars, and he waits for his moment, and he runs in and he grabs the guy from behind, and he wrestles the rifle away from him. Unbelievable. It's just stunning. Look for the helpers. Where are the strong men? There he is. He took 2 shots to the arms for his heroics. It looks like he's going to be okay. And he's raised. There's a GoFundMe going around. And last I checked, it was over $300,000 had been raised for that hero.
Yeah, well-deserved, absolutely.
Unbelievable. So it's out there. Just this is the kind of guy that we need to hold up and be like, look at everybody. That's the hero in this situation. Another hero was an Australian man who leaped on top of his young son during the terror attack and then rendered some first aid to the security guards that were there in attendance. And he breaks down what he saw outside at Bondi Beach.
Blood all over his...
So I was with my son, 8 years old. I pushed him to the ground and I fell on top of him. And then there's another security guard from JSA. JSA was hit in the shoulder and fell on top of me. The shooting was going on 5 minutes non-stop.
How many gunshots do you think were fired in that fight?
Probably 50, 60 gunshots. It was non-stop.
And the whole time you were lying on top of your 8-year-old son?
And then I was trying to give the first aid to the guy because he was bleeding profusely. So
which guy? A guy next to you?
The security guy that was shot, yes. And then once the shooting stopped, I went out, tried to help people. But I tell you one thing. I got these candles there, and I'm going to go home and I'm going to light them up. Because we must light up and keep the show going. We're not afraid.
I love that at the end. He has his menorah and he has his candles. He said, "Yeah, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna light these candles when we get home. Screw those guys. At the end of screw them. We're not gonna be intimidated. We're not going to be frightened. We're going to continue on." Again, the disparity in the reporting. The video that I saw, the shooting was about 11 minutes. He said 5 minutes. Another eyewitness said 20 minutes. In those situations, it's hard to keep your head on straight. I can't even imagine what those guys are going through. So it might feel shorter to some. It might feel longer to others. And that's just what you're going to get with eyewitness reports from the ground. But across Europe and across the Western world, this has to raise some eyebrows. It was a Hanukkah festival here in Australia, but it could be a Christmas market tomorrow. This is what happens with radical Islam. It's just the facts. And that might make people uncomfortable. And it certainly made Australian officials uncomfortable. They were trying to blame the far right over and over and over again. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese declares the far right is the true threat to democracy. This is in the immediate aftermath of a terror attack that showed radical Islamists opening fire on your citizens. You get on TV and you say, you know what we're worried about? Gosh darn far right.
Just briefly to be clear, your priority from National Cabinet in relation to the gun laws, what is the number one priority for you?
I would put them all together, making sure that they operate effectively and that they're kept up to date and that they're updated for the changing threat. We live in a more dangerous world in 2025. The threat of anti-Semitism, as we have seen, is very real. Threats of other occurrences, such as the rise in the far right, which has also been identified, of course, by Mike Burgess, is also a threat as well.
But nothing about radical Islam, huh? Nothing about the perpetrators and the ideology that motivated them. That's weird. Maybe it's a one-off. Maybe he misspoke. No, actually he didn't, because that was the second time that he had said that. He had mentioned the far right even earlier than that recording on the news.
We take Asia's advice very seriously. We work closely with them. We receive regular updates as well. The Director General of Asia has warned about a range of threats, be it anti-Semitism, the rise of right-wing extremist groups as well. And we continue to work closely with our security agencies.
The rise of right-wing extremists. Gee whiz. I didn't know that the right-wing extremists were shouting Allahu Akbar and professing their allegiance to ISIS. It's news to me. But this narrative doesn't shock me. It just shows what happens with weak men in positions of power. You get events like you saw in Sydney, Australia, and then you get them ignoring the cause of that event. Across Europe, there has been reactions, and pro-Islamists were out in full force after the terror attack with their own protests across Europe, Amsterdam in particular. In Germany, there was a terror plot that was foiled. And in France, they're linking Christmas markets to Nazis. So it's like, oh, we keep seeing the radical Islam popping up, rearing its ugly head. And we keep seeing Western leaders blame the far right. Got it. We'll talk more about that on the way. Plus, take some of your phone calls at 615-737-9986. It's 9:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll have the latest on the terror attack in Australia as well as the mass shooting at Brown University. Again, that's coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The Western world needs to wake up when it comes to the ideology that has been imported, and some could argue by design. You're seeing it on full display. Sydney, Australia over the weekend. After the terror attack in Sydney, Australia, you have Muslims throughout the Western world feeling empowered, feeling like it's their game to win at this point. It was Amsterdam. In Amsterdam, you had a lot of Muslims, pro-Islamist agitators, flooding the city and protesting. Wake up, Western world. Wake up. This ideology is not compatible with the West. It's just not. It's not. Some of the Western world's waking up. Some of it is. Over in Ireland, they have counter-protests going on with Westerners, and they are very upset. They don't want to see Ireland turn into a Muslim country, and they're stepping up. They're speaking out.
Your warlords have no power here! And whose country is this? For you have not come here and dominate and walk and disrespect us in our churches, in our national monument! You will respect the Irish people, or we will make you respect us!
It's good. It's good to see some of that, some of the people waking up, but it seems it's few and far between. Few and far between. Elsewhere throughout Europe, you're seeing the exact opposite. The covering up, the oh, come on, it's not all Muslims. Hashtag not all Muslims. But what are we supposed to expect? Do you know that another terror plot was foiled here in America? Another one. Oh, weird. This is after they foiled the terror plot that was going to happen on Halloween. Remember when they raided in Dearborn, Michigan? We are staring down the barrel of another terror attack in this country. You can point the blame towards the Democrats. You can point the blame towards the wide open border, and you can point the blame toward a radical ideology that has been imported here. Nobody wants to talk about it, but we will. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 9:30, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll have that weather forecast here shortly. Vigils and mourning for the 15 people who died over the weekend in what police say was a targeted terror attack against the Jewish community in Australia. Police say a father and son opened fire during the first night of Hanukkah at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. ABC's Faith Abube is in Sydney.
A bystander now being hailed as a hero after he rushed one of the gunmen and pried the weapon from his hands. Police say they shot and killed one of the suspects and the other is in critical condition.
Authorities in Rhode Island have released an individual who had been a person of interest in Saturday's mass shooting at Brown University, which killed 2 students and left 9 others injured. Providence, Rhode Island Mayor Brett Smiley speaking with ABC's George Stephanopoulos this morning on Good Morning America.
To be clear, we've never stopped our investigation. Providence Police and our partners in State Police, the FBI and others have continuously run down leads and worked this case beyond the person of interest who had been detained yesterday.
So you're absolutely convinced the person of interest had nothing to do with this?
We're not saying that definitively. What we're saying is that after a review of the evidence that was gathered, it was determined that the person of interest needed to be released.
Back here in Middle Tennessee, Fox 17 reports a deputy in Murray County shot and killed a suspect who pulled out a gun yesterday. That's according to state authorities. The deputy was at a home in the 900 block of Southport Road while trying to locate a man whom authorities in Lawrence County were looking for. That's according to the TBI. The TBI says the deputy made contact with the suspect, 22-year-old Jeremiah Dobbins, who then pulled out a weapon. The deputy then fired his gun, striking Dobbins. He later died at a local hospital. State agents say they're working to independently determine exactly what happened. That's the latest news. Weather's up next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley want to get you back to a pain-free life before Christmas. You might be thinking to yourself, there's no way that's possible. But with Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley on the Wellness Institute of Nashville, it 100% is possible. And they're not going to break the bank. They're not going to blow the Christmas budget. It's only $12. The Big Daddy Trump special still going on, no matter what you're dealing with. Back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, tingling limbs, bulging discs, herniated discs. They can treat it all. And that $12 is going to get you your first exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment. They're not going to use injections. They're not going to go with surgery, and they're not going to prescribe you some opioids. What they're going to focus on is non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and anti-gravity machines. No surgery, no injections, no painkillers. Grab your MRI, get ready to finally understand your condition and fix it. That's the key part. Let's get you back to a pain-free life by Christmas. 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. Or find them online, painisbad.com.
Take ASIO's advice very seriously. We work closely with them. We receive regular updates as well. The Director General of ASIO has warned about a range of threats, be it anti-Semitism, the rise of right-wing extremist groups as well. And we continue to work closely with our security agencies.
That was Anthony Albanese. He's the Prime Minister of Australia. He's warning. You know, be careful. Be careful for those far-right extremists, especially in 2025. I mean, the far-right extremists oftentimes will shout Allahu Akbar, have ISIS flags in their car, and, worship Allah. But that's just to throw people off the scent. That's all it is. Just to throw people off. It couldn't be that Islam isn't compatible with the West. It couldn't be that their ideology is that of a death cult. No. Please be careful for the far-right extremists. Okay. Are you being careful? I got a story here. Apparently, German police had arrested 5 men in an alt-right extremist plot for planning to target a Christmas market. Did I read that right? Oh, no. Islamist terror plot. Yep, this happened over the weekend as well. German police have arrested 5 men in connection with an alleged Islamist terror plot targeting an attack at a Christmas market in southern Bavaria. According to Bild newspaper, the 3 Moroccans, 22, 28, and 30, were arrested alongside a 37-year-old Syrian and a 56-year-old Egyptian, suspected of planning to use a vehicle to attack people at a Christmas market in the town of Dingolfing. The paper, citing sources with the Bavarian State Office for the Protection of the Constitution, LFV, reported that the Egyptian man is believed to have been a mosque prayer leader. He's accused of recruiting the 3 Moroccans to carry out an attack on the nearby Christmas market. Is this another one of those alt-right extremist plots? Is this an alt-right narrative? After what we've seen in Sydney, I don't know how you don't keep your head on a swivel. I think everybody should, and I think you should be armed. Shout out to my friends at the Glock store. Get some training. Be ready. I don't want this stuff to happen. I pray it doesn't, but should it happen, I hope you're ready. In Germany, investigators are said to currently be considering radical Islam as the chief motivation for this suspected plot on a Christmas market. The 5th suspect, the Syrian national, is also alleged to have encouraged others to carry out the potential attack. Confirming the arrest, Munich Attorney General Reinhard Rodel said the swift action demonstrates how effectively the cooperation between the Office for the Protection of the Constitution, the police, and the Central Office for Combating Extremism and Terrorism functions within the Bavarian security architecture. I'm glad that they foiled that plot. I'm glad. At least they're working. At least they're doing something behind the scenes. In practice, in front of the cameras, they'll tell you that far right is far more dangerous. But at least we know behind the scenes they're working on this. I mean, you're seeing more across Europe. In front of the cameras, they're quick to label everyone as Nazis. In fact, a French public broadcaster claimed that Christmas markets are a tradition tied to the Nazis. A French public broadcaster has been accused of spreading anti-Christian messaging by saying that the tradition of Christmas markets is tied to Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. This was on a taxpayer-funded France Info radio station, published a video titled "Christmas Markets, a Tradition Rehabilitated by the Nazis." Did you know there's a link between Nazis and our beloved Christmas markets? Oh my gosh. I had no idea. Shocking. Stunned. Just let's focus on everything except the danger that's in front of us. That danger is very real. It's not just Europe. It's not just Australia. It's the entire Western world. We just foiled a terror plot here in America, a New Year's Eve terror plot. And let's also not forget that there was a terror attack, was it New Year's last year in New Orleans? How quickly people forget. But they looks like they were planning another one in Los Angeles.
The FBI now reports that it's disrupted a planned New Year's Eve terror attack in Los Angeles. 4 suspects in custody, the FBI identifying them as members of a pro-Palestine extremist group. They're suspected of planning coordinated IED attacks targeting 5 different locations in Los Angeles. But based on the reporting now, that plot has been foiled. We will wait for more out of L.A. or out of Washington, D.C.
And as we get more updates on that, we'll have them for you as well. God bless the FBI for foiling that plot, but keep your head on a swivel. not just as we move through Hanukkah, but as we move into Christmas as well. You got to remember how much of a high alert we need to be on. It was just a few weeks ago, Dearborn, Michigan, that there was a terror plot foiled right before Halloween. And by the grace of God, it was foiled. Because could you imagine what that would have looked like in practice? Could have been awful. And listen, the guys were indicted on November 13th. Federal grand jury indicted 3 Dearborn men, Ali, Mahmoud, and Nasir, on charges including conspiring to provide material support to ISIS. The case involves up to 8 defendants, total across states, with some ties to overseas travel plans for ISIS training. As of mid-December 2025, the case remains in the pretrial phase. No reports of the plot proceeding or new related incidents in Dearborn. Local police and officials emphasize no ongoing threat. But we don't know what their plot was. I mean, we're only left to speculate. But that could have been horrific. Absolutely horrific. And you see all these things, sign after sign after sign. Islam is incompatible with the West. This is a death cult. They're going to force their ideology on us. And if we don't want to convert peacefully, then you're going to be treated as the infidel and you're going to be taken out. We saw that just yesterday in Sydney, Australia. Why aren't anybody waking up to this? Why aren't Western leaders speaking out against this? Charlie Kirk used to speak out against this stuff. Charlie was fearless in speaking out against this stuff. He went to England and spoke to them directly just a few weeks before he passed away.
The question is macro Islam compatible with Western values? Macro. Of course it's not. There are 3 major reasons why. Islam does not believe in freedom of speech. Islam does not believe in freedom of religion. And Islam does not believe in separation of mosque and state. Those 3 things are antithetical to the West. In a Muslim majority country, most Muslim majority countries, you cannot criticize the Prophet Muhammad. In most Muslim majority countries, you do not have the same robust freedom of religion protections. And finally, whereas we in the West are very careful to try to intermix religion and state, they are commanded to actually go into the state and try to change the state to be more Islamic around the core pillars of Islam. And the last thing I'll finally say is I cannot see a single Western country that has become more Islamic and has become a better place to live that is happier or freer.
By what metric? Just happiness, quality of life?
Everything from quality of life, from cultural cohesion, from whether people want to live there, prior to the native-born fertility rates.
Again, people watching this will say is your criticism of the religion itself or not Muslim people? Because there are British Muslims who have been born here.
You don't have to caveat it all the time. I know you guys have to because you're British and all that. A culture ceases to exist when we don't have unified language. When you cannot talk to your neighbor. I'm not discounting that there are good individual Muslims. The question that we need to reckon with the West is Mohammedanism compatible with the teachings of Blackstone? Is it compatible with the legacy of Wilberforce?
All right.
And the great thinkers that have come from this country? And I will say, no, there's a reason why when you go to these Islamic countries that you're not going to see the equal protection of rights, that you do not believe in universal human equality, that you do not believe the same things that we believe in the West. And I think it's suicidal to import millions of them.
Yeah, and you know what, just on a passing point on that, it's most of the time, as far as I'm concerned, it's not even multicultural. Because there was an example there was a school a few months ago during Easter which cancelled Easter celebrations out of respect for other faiths. So it's not as if the word multicultural and multi-diverse doesn't include Christianity.
No, and again, this is the red-green axis, and Britain is at the forefront of this. You have the Marxists that have infiltrated your government and the Islamists that are coming to your country. And when they combine together, they both agree on one thing. They have huge disagreements on a lot. They hate the West, and they want to see it broken.
Where's the lie? And when you look at the Western countries that have imported just numerous swaths of Muslims, Australia, Germany, France, Britain, America, has any of them gotten better because of it? Any of them? Not one, huh? Not one. But the Prime Minister of Australia will say, we got to look out for these far-right extremists. We have to. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the show. Mike in Nashville, you're up first. What's up, Mike? How we doing, man?
Yeah, how you doing, Chris? Hey, listen, man, I'll give you credit. There's very few radio stations. For some reason, they don't want to offend people, but it needs to be talked about. Donald Trump, this is the reason why he's closed the border. there are terrorists here in America right now, as you know. They think they said like 18,000 people maybe might be in the individuals. And the same thing that happened in Australia can easily happen in America, because these people they don't like America. They don't like what we stand for. All you got to do is look at what's going on in Somalia with these Somalian people
100%.
up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm surprised they haven't had an attack, because those people don't like America. They don't like the people that live here. The Ileana Omar, they don't like nothing that this place stands for. And it's just a matter of time before something real bad happens. I was in shock this weekend, Chris. I've never seen somebody with a long gun like that just shooting people for no reason whatsoever at a beach. I was in shock when I saw the video of this the other day. This is not right. And like I said, this man, it was a father and son. That's what makes it even worse. These two individuals, they don't deserve to go to jail. They deserve the ultimate penalty, which is the death penalty that they have in Australia, because they gave those people the death penalty that they shot the other day. And like I said before, Chris, these people, I don't care whose feelings get hurt, but these people are radicalized. And they think that we're infidels. They don't like the lifestyle that we live in America, but yet they want to live in America. So you figure it out. But like I said before, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen in the U.S. It's just a matter of when. And I thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mike. And I think it's important to echo onto your point the fact that Australians have been disarmed, Germans have been disarmed, the French have been disarmed, the British have been disarmed. We do have a tactical advantage here in America. But make sure that you're training, make sure you're ready, and make sure you have a firearm on you. Keep your head on a swivel. I believe that we're looking for another shoe to drop here in America. And if you believe the reporting, Fox News said a terror plot that was planned for New Year's Eve in Los Angeles has been foiled. We know that a terror plot from Dearborn, Michigan on Halloween had been foiled. And by the grace of God, the FBI is out there doing that work. But the conversation needs to happen. Is Islam compatible with the West? What do we do about it? And there are some voices out there who are speaking out against it. President Trump isn't alone on an island. Senator Tommy Tuberville wants to ban Sharia law from the country entirely.
Is a major national security threat. Radical Islamists have proven over and over again that they are willing to do whatever it takes to kill just one American citizen. And it didn't just happen overseas. It has been allowed to fester and is alive and well in our very own country.
He's right.
Just waiting for the right opportunity to attack. So, now's the time to act, because if we don't, we're going to lose this country as we know it. Open your eyes, America. The values of this country was built on cannot coexist with radical Islam. It doesn't work. It's one, our Constitution, or the other. You can't mix them. This isn't a Republican or Democrat issue. This is an American issue. Just look at Europe. We are headed down the same dark path as what Europe's going through now if we don't wake up. We need to permanently shut down Sharia law in this country before it's too late. Wake up, America.
He's absolutely right, and we're seeing it in so many places. Again, Dearborn, Michigan comes to mind. Minneapolis comes to mind. But don't forget that this is also happening in Texas. Chip Roy was talking about it happening in Texas. He says, guys, if we don't get a handle on it now, then we're essentially going to be screwed.
In Texas, we've got to double down. If there is no Texas, the country completely falls apart. And you said it, and people need to know it. The Muslim Brotherhood in London and in Paris, they recognize that Dallas in particular, Texas, is the epicenter of what they're trying to do for the Islamification of not just Texas, not just America, but the Western Hemisphere.
Big time.
They're planting the seeds here, and we've got to rip those seeds up and get them out of Texas.
We got to rip the seeds out everywhere. How do we do that? It's a messy conversation, but one that we're willing to have. 615-737-9986. John in Hendersonville, hang on. I'll get to your call next. It's 9:51. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Many in Australia now calling for more gun restrictions after this past weekend's terror attack, and reports now of an arrest in the murder of Rob Reiner and his wife. We'll have that coming up at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. You can watch the show. Super Talk TV is up and jumping, as always, YouTube and Rumble. And over in the YouTube chat, we have one of our liberal friends who's looking for some solid proof that the shooters in Australia were radical Islamists. That the ISIS flag in the car wasn't cutting it for him. Okay, all right. We'll wait for more proof, I guess. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the show. John in Hendersonville has been holding for a second. Appreciate you, John. What do you got?
One thing is I've read Bill Warner and thousands of pages on the Islam religion. And an important part of it is not to compare those who believe in Muhammad to Christians, because those who believe in Muhammad right now are peaceful. Compare Jesus Christ, a man of peace, to Muhammad, a man of war. Now, Muhammad in the beginning for the first 10 years was a peaceful man in Mecca, and he sought to have religious followers and got somewhere around 100. But when he moved to Medina after resistance in Mecca, he observed the Arabs and how they conquered places. They would go to the place and execute ugly women and take pretty women as slaves. They would force young children to support them, and then they would massacre all the men who opposed them. And so he observed that, and that became his way of doing things.
Was this before or after he married a 6-year-old?
Muhammad is the opposite, yes. Muhammad is the opposite of Jesus, and so that is where it is best to make a comparison.
I mean, I also think that you can make the argument that Islam is more of a political system masquerading as a religion, as opposed to the opposite.
Right. Very true. Very true.
Well, hey, John, I appreciate the call. We'll take more of your calls on the way, 615-737-9986. Plus, we'll talk about what happened at Brown University over the weekend. They thought they had somebody in custody that did the shooting, but that proved to be fake news. We're hearing a lot of reports about what the class was, what was being shouted in the class, and more, and we're learning about some of the victims. Heartbreaking stuff right before the holidays. We'll talk about that, plus take more of your phone calls on the way. 615-737-9986. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 10 a.m., and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. The weather forecast is coming up in mere moments. Vigils and mourning for the 15 people who died over the weekend in what police say was a terrorist attack against the Jewish community in Australia. People say 2 people opened fire during the first night of Hanukkah at Bondi Beach in Sydney. It's prompted the Australian government to discuss tightening gun restrictions. ABC's Faith Abube, she is in Sydney.
This is the worst mass shooting in nearly 30 years, and authorities say it was a targeted act of terrorism on the Jewish community. It was chaos Sunday evening as beachgoers ran for their lives. Police say a father and son targeted the crowd of Jewish people during a celebration to mark the first day of Hanukkah. At least 15 people were killed and 42 others were injured, including children and the elderly.
Now on the West Coast here in the U.S., in the wake of the stabbing death of director-actor Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, Reiner's son, Nick Reiner, has been taken into custody, according to multiple news reports. Los Angeles Sheriff's Department records show that Nick Reiner was taken into custody, and he's being held on $4 million bail. That's according to People magazine, as well as Page 6 with the New York Post, also ABC News now reporting this. Nick Reiner is Rob Reiner's middle child who co-wrote his dad's 2015 film Being Charlie that was loosely based on his experiences with drug addiction and homelessness. Back here in Middle Tennessee, Fox 17 reports one person has been confirmed dead in a house fire in the Inglewood neighborhood. The Nashville Fire Department responded to a house fire on the 4700 block of Tanglewood Drive early this morning. Officials say that neighbors noticed the fire and called 911. Firefighters arrived on the scene to find flames burning through the roof of the home. Fire officials say that one person was found dead inside the home during a primary search. The home has been declared a complete loss. That's the latest news. Weather's up next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
It's 10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us, Super Talk TV, up and running on all the major social media platforms, the big ones, YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. We appreciate you doing so and helping us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. I got Mason Fleming producing, Jay Harper's in the newsroom, and you guys are more than welcome to join the show however you'd like to. Whether you want to call in, text in, or jump in the YouTube chat, all options are available to you. 615-737-9986 is the phone number to call and text. We've been talking about the Sydney, Australia terror attack, which is just heartbreaking. During the Hanukkah celebration that was down there, wild. And it's just the realities of what happens when you import Islam into the Western world. It's never going to mix. It's just not. And that's a harsh reality. A lot of people aren't going to like that. But this is a political system masquerading as a religion they want to take over. That's what we're seeing. And I don't know how you come to any other conclusions when you see what's happening. We mentioned earlier in the show, just this morning, being reported that another terror attack has been thwarted here in America. This one for Los Angeles on New Year's.
The FBI now reports that it's disrupted a planned New Year's Eve terror attack in Los Angeles. 4 suspects in custody, the FBI identifying them as members of a pro-Palestine extremist group. They're suspected of planning coordinated IED attacks targeting 5 different locations in Los Angeles. But based on the reporting now, that plot has been foiled. We will wait for more out of L.A. or out of Washington, D.C.
By the grace of God, it was foiled. And I think we could say the same thing about the terror plot that we saw foiled in Dearborn, Michigan in the lead up to Halloween. And it seems like we're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. We understand that the border was wide open. Many terrorists were allowed in. And many were flown in. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. With what we saw with the National Guard's troops in D.C., those were brought in with the red carpet rolled out by the Biden administration. Those Afghan refugees, our allies, the mercenaries. I mean, they were just, come on in. No worries. No worries. Was what happened at Brown University also a terror attack? Is that what we can come to the conclusion of? Will we come to that conclusion soon? A lot of discussion on what was happening. A Brown University professor told Ocean State Media the shooting on Saturday happened in her classroom during a review for a final exam. The attacker yelled something, then opened fire. The attacker yelled something, then opened fire. What did the attacker yell? I mean, I think that's an important piece of the puzzle, is it not? Well, several reporters, investigative journalists, online influencers are reporting that what was yelled was Allahu Akbar. Laura Loomer is reporting that. Mass shooter at Brown targeted classroom of professor who taught Judaic studies at Brown University. The professor also taught abroad in Israel. Sources tell Loomer that the Democrat officials in Rhode Island and woke administrators at Brown are doing all they can to hide the fact that the shooter at Brown University was a Muslim who targeted the classroom of Professor Rachel Friedberg, who taught Judaic studies in addition to economics. Source told me the students heard the shooter scream Allahu Akbar before he opened fire, but the PC culture of Brown has them afraid of being called Islamophobic. Sources tell me and FBI agents on the ground have also been instructed by Democrat officials on the ground in Rhode Island not to use the word Muslim or Islamic terror. It's Laura Loomer. I mean, she's right a lot. She's off sometimes. Take it with a grain of salt. But the reporting on the professor is on point. She did teach Judaic studies at Brown University. That's interesting. Jonathan Cho, friend of the show, another investigative reporter, is echoing those same comments by Laura Loomer, saying a source told me students heard the shooter shout Allahu Akbar before opening fire. How do they not have this guy yet? You know, Brown University has one camera for every 9 students. It's one of the most surveilled campuses in the country. They have no idea where the person went. They thought they had a guy. They thought they had Benjamin Erickson, a 24-year-old. He was a person of interest who was detained yesterday in response to the shooting. And this story gets even more interesting and even more complicated as you learn about this. This is how CNN reported it last night when they had the individual in custody.
The big news came just minutes ago with CNN hearing from several officials that the person of interest who has been in custody now for several hours has been identified as 24-year-old Benjamin Erickson of Wisconsin. This comes again from multiple law enforcement sources to CNN, although they haven't said this out loud yet at any kind of news conference. That information, the public information, has been sparse and frankly rare. over the last 24 hours. We will wait and see now that he has been identified by our CNN and other news sources if they come out and tell us more about this individual. But this person of interest, Benjamin Erickson, was taken into custody at a hotel about 25 minutes away from where I am, Brown University, in the town of Coventry, Rhode Island. He was at a hotel at 3:30 a.m. and when they took him into custody, they found him with 2 handguns, a revolver and a small Glock in his hotel room. Now, that Glock did have a laser targeting system on it, which makes it fairly unusual, although a lot of people do note that these exist out there, but they're wondering why he may have had that.
The laser on the Glock is just so dumb. The way they make it seem like that's a big deal. It was a laser targeting system. Like, okay, got it. But the interesting part is how it was the FBI. The FBI surged to find that current person of interest, Benjamin Erickson. They said that they utilized geolocation tools to track the cell phone to a hotel in Coventry, Rhode Island, about 20 minutes from Brown University. That's where they picked up Benjamin Erickson. That's where they found him with the firearms. And then they have since released him. They have since released the guy. So he wasn't the right guy. This is not before everybody dug up everything that they could find out about Benjamin Erickson, and he got absolutely dragged for believing in gender equity, refugee and migrant support, and more per his LinkedIn profile. Every internet sleuth was out there digging up everything that they could on this guy, and apparently it was the wrong guy. I guess, even though they retrieved a revolver and a Glock handgun, it was the wrong guy. So they're back to square one, and they're not getting any information from local authorities out there. Have you seen the press conferences? It's been limited info at best, and it seems like they're just annoyed to be asked and answered any of these questions from the jump. It's wild. So we have no idea who did the shooting. The longer it goes, does anybody get caught in this crime? Heartbreaking stuff, though. Absolutely heartbreaking. And we're finding out that one of the victims of the Brown shooting was Ella Cook. This is confirmed by her church. She was one of the victims of the Brown University shooting. She was the VP of Brown University's Republican Club. So then that raises another question: was this terrorism? Did the shooter shout Allahu Akbar, or was this a targeted hit on the young Republicans that were in attendance? Was this targeted based on anti-Semitism? The questions are numerous. The answers nowhere to be found. And while we don't have answers, all we're left to do is speculate. And Democrats had no problem speculating about this yesterday. Senator Chris Murphy blames the Brown University shooting on President Trump. Yeah, did you know that? Yep, this is Trump's fault. And the mental gymnastics won't surprise you. But Senator Chris Murphy out of Connecticut, he's a Democrat, said, guys, clearly this is Trump's fault.
Not shocking, because over the last year, President Trump has been engaged in a dizzying campaign to increase violence in this country. He is restoring gun rights to felons and people who have lost their ability to buy guns. He eliminated the White House Office of Gun Violence Protection, and he has stopped funding mental health grants and community anti-gun violence grants that Republicans and Democrats supported in that 2022 bill. So he has been engaged in a pretty deliberate campaign to try to make violence more likely in this country. And I think you're unfortunately going to see the results of that on the streets of America.
He's been deliberately in a campaign to make America more violent, make America violent again. Excuse me? Is this guy? He's been engaged in a dizzying campaign to increase violence in this country. President Trump. President Trump has. This is the rhetoric that we get from the left. This is the narrative spinning. They don't even have the shooter in custody. It was Trump's fault. Clearly it was Trump's fault. Given all the violence that we've seen over the last year, obviously this was Trump's fault. Huh. Senator Murphy wasn't the only one out there making these kind of narrative pushes. Ilhan Omar was also out there on the weekend show. She was asked about the shooting at Brown, the shooting in Australia, and Ilhan Omar said, listen, we gotta get used to these tragedies, and gun prevention laws are what's going to stop it.
We are following these shootings in Australia and in Rhode Island. There was a shooting in your district not that long ago, a mass shooting. This is yet another bad day for America.
Yeah, I mean, we are still recovering from the shooting at Annunciation Church. It is a tragedy that this has become a normal occurrence. Not just in the United States, but now seeing it in Australia, who's worked really hard to create gun prevention laws to prevent the kind of tragedy that took place today.
Yeah. Clearly, the gun rules saved so many lives, didn't they? Yeah. Rhode Island has some of the strictest gun laws in the country. Australia doesn't even allow their citizens to have guns. Clearly, we need more common sense gun regulation. I think the opposite is true. I think if you had a dozen armed Australians, that terror attack doesn't last even a quarter of as long as it did. If some of those students were armed in that classroom, maybe we're not still having a manhunt for the shooter. But yes, Ilhan, yes, please, more common sense gun laws. That's what we need. Do you see how the left spins up the narrative? Do you see how they spin it away from the cause? They don't even want to talk about the causes. They want to blame conservatives. Whether it's the Prime Minister from Australia or Ilhan Omar or Senator Chris Murphy, it's clearly Trump and the far right's fault. It has nothing to do with the ideology of Islam. It has nothing to do with how violent the left has become. Nothing. And on the Brown shooting, I mean, full disclosure, we're still trying to figure out what happened. We're still trying to piece it together. We have certain bits of information, but without a shooter in custody, we're just left to speculate. I mean, and that's just full disclosure. That's the fairest thing that we can do is speculate. We're not getting any information out of Rhode Island from the school administrators, from the police, from the investigation at all. So all we can do is speculate. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. On the way, we'll talk a little bit more about Ilhan Omar. She was asked about marrying her brother over the weekend. Did you catch that? She was asked. This is on MS Now, and she was very upset that she was asked the question. She's very upset that President Trump continues to say this. Despite the fact that it's the truth. Ignore that part. Also, Ilhan Omar's son was pulled over by ICE over the weekend. We'll give you an update on that as well. It's 10:20. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand for United Structural Systems. You know them as USS. Let me ask you some questions. Are your floors sagging? Do you have cracks showing up in the drywall? Doors that won't shut right? These aren't small little issues at the house. These aren't just blemishes interrupting the beauty of your home. These are red flags and warning signs. And they could be telling you that something's happening with your foundation beneath your feet. A solid foundation is going to be the backbone of a strong home. When it weakens, the issue's only going to get worse over time. This is why you need to trust the pros over at United Structural Systems. Since 1994, they've been keeping Tennessee homes dry, stable, and secure the way they should be. See, they use American-made adjustable steel supports built to last, backed with transferable warranties from I-beams to custom crawl space repairs. These guys are going to fix it right the first time, and this is how they've grown to over 30,000 satisfied customers. So when it comes to your home, don't kick the can down the road. Don't think it's going to fix itself. Call the pros. Call United Structural Systems. 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or find them online, USSTN.com.
An arrest has been made in the murder of Rob Reiner and his wife. We'll have the latest. We'll also have the latest on the mass shooting at Brown University. That's coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. The statement from President Trump on Truth Social when it came to Rob Reiner, it was like, missed the mark. Did you see this? Did you see the statement on Truth Social?
I heard you make mention of it off the air, and I
just wasn't a good statement. I'll be honest with you. He probably should have said nothing.
Bad call.
He wrote, a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace. Yeah, it's not a...
Yeah, a very backhanded attempt.
That's not a good statement.
No.
You should have just let it go.
Yeah, my guess it was typed up before the announcement of how everything went down, but still.
Yikes.
Just not even a...
Not a good look.
Yeah, this is one where he should have gone the high road. It was like, hey, even though he was a raging liberal on a lot of stuff, may they rest in peace. They didn't deserve this, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, dude, I mean, he got stabbed by his kid?
Yeah.
That's awful. That's an awful way to go. Yeah. And I don't care what your politics are. I don't want anybody to go like that.
No, absolutely not.
It's terrible. So rest in peace to Rob Reiner and his wife. 78 and 68.
Man.
Dude, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Statement by Trump was not good. That's putting it lightly.
Yeah, bad call.
Kind of a trash statement. Not even kind of. It was a trash statement. Trash statement.
Yeah, they should delete that post, move on.
Dude, what are you doing?
I mean, it's obviously out there now, but...
Yeah, I mean, you're not getting that toothpaste back in the tube.
No, absolutely not.
And, like, why? Why insult somebody in their death?
Yeah, especially when they're not alive anymore to defend themselves.
Well, and, given what we've seen, it's like you saw what happened after Charlie and like the celebrations and the insanity. And it's like, well, okay, like, we don't do that. So let's not do it. Yeah, missed the mark, to say the least. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the show. Frank in Cookeville wants to talk about gun control. What's up, Frank? Welcome to the show, man.
Good morning. What I think the general public, we talk about all these gun laws, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, you have all these cities and states that have these tightened gun laws. Well, the criminals and the people who want a gun are not going by what the law says.
Yep.
If they did, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in with the violence, right?
Yep.
You have prosecutors that have been handed cases with felon in possession, and they slap them on the wrist, they send them back out on the streets, and then they commit more crimes. They go to jail for a little time, then they come back out. What we need to concentrate on, and the far left is always talking about, laws this, laws that. Well, get some prosecutors federally and on the state side to prosecute the people who are caught that are prohibited to have a weapon and lock them up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes total sense. I just think that you're never going to get criminals to follow gun laws. You're only going to get law-abiding citizens to follow gun laws.
Okay, so why is the left always talking? It's a gun. We need to stiffen the gun laws.
I think that they know that they're going to get opposition from Republicans. And then they can point and say, see, they don't want us to make our cities safer. They don't want us to make our country safer. I think they do it more for a talking point and a narrative.
I agree with that 100%. And it's a waste of time and it's a waste of taxpayers' money.
Yep.
My other thing is all the military that we have that come back from war, and here they are giving the government and the leftists want to send all this money to Somalia and all that crap. We need to take care of the people who defended our country and continue to defend our country and sacrifice their life for us and our freedom, and quit sending money overseas to these people that don't need it, and take care of our veterans.
Amen. You're absolutely right.
100%
Yep.
are out here on the road, and we're giving money away to people in the United States, in Tennessee, in Nashville, and across the nation that have defended our country, but they're homeless and they're fighting, and we're giving people money that don't need it. They're living in subsidized housing with our veterans that can't even get a house.
Yeah, no, brother, you're preaching to the choir here, and I'm with you 100%, and I appreciate your call. There are 193 countries in the world. 193. Do you know how many of them get our taxpayer dollars? Are you ready for this? 193 countries in the world. We send money to 177 of them. Oh, yep. And our veterans are homeless. And we're $38 trillion in debt. 177 of them. 1030, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
It is 10:30, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. Stand by for the latest weather forecast. Under arrest now, Nick Reiner, the son of director and actor Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, after they were found stabbed to death in their L.A. home. ABC's Alex Stone is there.
The arrest of Rob Reiner's son coming earlier today. Sources are telling us it is for suspicion of murder, but no charges have been filed yet. The district attorney will decide on charges in the next couple of days. He's being held on $4 million bail. The LAPD making the arrest after they spent all night here at the Reiner home where I am right now. They have since moved out. There is no activity beyond the walls of the Reiner home. There is a white gate out front, high hedges around the home. Inside, there are holiday decorations around the house.
No arrests have been made in the deadly shooting on the campus of Brown University. A person of interest was released from custody over the weekend. 2 students died in the shooting and 9 were injured. Students were preparing for final exams when the shots rang out. Ref Barry is one of those students and tells ABC News once he realized there were shots inside the building where he was studying, he ran as fast as he could. He also says many students are scared since authorities haven't arrested anyone yet.
My parents came last night at 12:30 a.m. and picked me up, but some of my friends are still in their dorms, and I can't imagine. I don't know, it's just scary.
Back here in Middle Tennessee, Channel 4 reports homicide detectives with the Laverne Police Department are investigating a deadly shooting from Sunday night. Laverne Police Department officers were called to the 1300 block of Gary Lane after a shooting was reported around 10:30 last night. Police arrived and found a 23-year-old man suffering from a gunshot wound who died at the scene. 3 suspects reportedly fled the scene in a single vehicle, which was located by police, and a pursuit ensued. Following the pursuit, 2 of the suspects were apprehended, but a third managed to run away and remains at large. That's according to Laverne PD. Detectives are treating the incident as a targeted shooting and said no discernible threat remains against residents in the area. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
1037, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky. I do that for a little bit of trolling. At Chris Hand on air. All of them are the same. At Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. If you want to join the show, 615-737-9986. That's the phone number. That's the text line. We got Mason Fleming producing. We got Jay Harper in the newsroom. We got you guys on the phone lines. Let's go to Tony in Nashville. What's up, Tony? How are you, man?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good. What do you got?
Just want to get something straight out there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go for it.
This one is that. Do you know the reason why Muslims is the way that they are? Do you know what that stems from?
Fill me in, man.
What it is two brothers that's fighting each other, and they're gonna fight each other until God comes back and ends this. And those two brothers are Ishmael and Isaac. What happened is that God told Abraham that he was going to have a son by his wife, and she laughed. But she didn't laugh out loud like me and you talking. She laughed in her head, so she thought didn't nobody hear her. God said, "Why are you laughing?" And she said, "I'm not laughing." He said, "Yes, you are. Is it anything too hard for God?" So what happened was, once that happened, he told her to name their son Isaac, which means laughter. Every time she calls her son Isaac, that reminds her how she laughed at God. But moving forward, years went by and they got frustrated, and Sarah didn't get pregnant, so Sarah told Abraham to go in there and lay with their servant Hagar, and to have a baby. And Hagar got pregnant. And once Hagar got pregnant, then Sarah got mad and sent her away. And while she was out there, she was thirsty and thought she was going to die. And the angel came to her and told her that God hears her. That's the reason why Ishmael's name means God hears. Now, what happened was, doing this, what Sarah was telling Abraham to do, God stayed silent. He didn't respond to it at all. Then once the baby was born, then Sarah told Abraham to send them away because he can't have our son's inheritance. So when he got distraught about it, God told Abraham, this time he intervened. And he told Abraham, hearken to the voice of your wife. So he said,
you there?
So God told him, don't worry, I'm going to take care of the lad. And he said, I'm going to bring many nations out of him. But then he said, this is what's going to happen. He said he's going to be like a wild man. His hand going to be against every nation, and every nation going to be against him. Which that's where the Muslim, if you ask any Muslim right now, you ask him, so who are you the seed of? And they'll tell you that they are the seed of Ishmael. Now, do you know the reason why Muslims hate America so much?
Fill me in.
It's because this is where the largest group of Christians live in the world. And if you look at it, what are they trying to do? They're trying to eliminate Christians.
Fair. Yep.
And see, this has been going on for centuries, and I don't care. Now I voted for Donald Trump. Now, I think the man is just right for this country. I actually do. Now, he gonna get in the false belief that he's gonna foster peace in the Middle East. That's not gonna happen. And the Bible already told you that's not going to happen. Now, all these religious guys is coming on here making their assessments. They're basing their assessments on worldly information, not what come out of that book. If you want to know what's going on around you, all you got to do is study that book.
Fair enough, man. Well, I appreciate the call. As always, 615-737-9986. Go to Pete in Mount Juliet. What's up, Pete?
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, in regards to this non-phenomenon known as gun control, we have control here, but we need to do thug control, THUG, in capital letters. We don't have a lack of prison space. We can throw up tents and put them out in an open field and wrap it with concertina wire. Keep these people where we need to keep them, behind walls or behind concertina wire. Oh, the tents will get too cold in the wintertime. Give them blankets. I don't give a damn.
I'm with you. I just I guess I'm curious. What is this in response to? Are you discussing the Brown shooting? The Democrats coming out and pushing for more gun control?
Well, it's not gun control in exception. Knife control in Britain. Just thug control in itself. And activist judges also. We need a mandatory sentence. If you get in trouble, you do the max. You didn't go to jail because you were in good behavior. You went to jail because of bad behavior. No time off for good behavior. Lock them up.
Yeah, I'm with you, man, 100%. Appreciate the call, Pete. 615-737-9986. Ilhan Omar was one of those Democrats out there over the weekend pushing for more gun control. She was on MS Now, and she said this tragedy has become a normal occurrence in the United States. But seeing it in Australia, that's tough because they've worked so hard for gun control and gun prevention laws. And to see that's just heartbreaking.
We are following these shootings in Australia and in Rhode Island. There was a shooting in your district not that long ago, a mass shooting. This is yet another bad day for America.
Yeah, I mean, we are still recovering from the shooting at Annunciation Church. It is a tragedy that this has become a normal occurrence, not just in the United States, but now seeing it in Australia, who's worked really hard to create gun prevention laws to prevent the kind of tragedy that took place today.
Yeah, it's so sad to see it happen in Australia. It's sad to see it happen in America when mentally ill, leftist-motivated shooters take action and at Annunciation Church. That was heartbreaking. You see the same ideology permeating the Muslim base that also vote overwhelmingly Democrat. It's heartbreaking to see. She doesn't discuss that at all. No, she doesn't want to discuss the leftists who are taking shots at ICE agents. No. She doesn't want to talk about the violence from the left. No, of course not. Of course not. What Democrat would? Ilhan Omar was also asked over the weekend about President Trump, saying that she married her brother, which, depending on which news site you subscribe to, you've seen this story going completely viral once again. Daily Mail saying it's been confirmed she married her brother. She was on a local CBS affiliate in Minnesota, don't you know? And she was asked about it.
Everybody knows I came to the United States at the age of 12, gained my citizenship at the age of 17, and I am an elected representative in the House of Congress, and so the House of Representatives in Congress. And so for me, I look at it as a display of his ignorance, and I see it as a national embarrassment that he continues to say those kind of things, even though he does know what the truth is.
Yeah, many people look at Ilhan Omar and also think national embarrassment. Nobody's disputing the fact that she came to the country when she was 12. Nobody's disputing the fact that she's an elected representative of Congress, though you can make the case that she wouldn't be if it wasn't for all the imported Somalians. But she doesn't actually refute the claim that she married her brother so that way he could get his paperwork in order, so that way he could go to school. She doesn't directly address that. Why would she? She's too busy being the victim. She continued with the victim status and the victim narrative while she let everyone know that ICE pulled over her son over the weekend. It's tough. Oh, it's heartbreaking. You know what they did, too? When they found out he was an American citizen, they deported him anyway. Oh, wait, no, sorry. That's what the leftists want you to think. They let him go. Oh, not nearly as salacious as she wished it would have been.
At Target, he did get pulled over by ICE agents, and once he was able to produce his passport ID, they did let him go.
So your son went to Target last night with his passport.
He always carries it with him.
In case he gets pulled over.
Yes.
Which he did by ICE.
Yes.
Oh, stunning. Shocking. And then once they realized he wasn't an illegal alien, they let him go. Poor Ilhan Omar, her poor family. Well, could you imagine what they must be going through? You know, the surge is on in Minnesota. 400 criminal aliens have been busted so far. Tim Walz's sanctuary city policies are being blamed. His sanctuary state policies are being blamed. Federal immigration officers have arrested more than 400 illegal aliens, convicted pedophiles, rapists, violent offenders during the Operation Metro Surge in Minnesota. A crackdown, officials say, was necessary after state and local sanctuary policies allowed dangerous criminals to roam free. Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin blasted Governor Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey for failing to protect the people of Minnesota, saying ICE law enforcement officers have arrested more than 400 illegal aliens, including pedophiles, rapists, violent thugs, since Operation Metro Surge began. Tim Walz and Jacob Frey failed to protect the people of Minnesota. They let these monsters and child predators roam free. Thanks to our brave law enforcement, Minnesota is safer with these thugs off the streets. Instead of thanking our law enforcement for removing criminals from their communities, Tim Walz and Jacob Frey continue to demonize our brave law enforcement. You could add Ilhan Omar to that list, because what do you think she's doing on CBS's Minnesota affiliate? She's demonizing law enforcement. She's demonizing the people that are getting these monsters off the street. And there are press releases out there. I mean, you can dig in and do your own research. Libin Ali Osman, 43-year-old criminal illegal alien from Somalia, who was convicted of robbery in Columbus, Ohio, sentenced to 3 years in prison. He's had a final order of removal since May of 2011. 2011. I mean, hundreds upon hundreds of these guys. DHS launched the official Operation Metro Surge to target the worst of the worst who flock to Minnesota because they know sanctuary politicians will protect them. Officials launched an interactive database providing additional means of learning about the numbers and types of criminals being removed by the Trump administration. Worth a look for sure. And it absolutely goes against the Democrat narrative that they're the victims in this case. The Somalis are the victims. The illegal aliens are the victims. Ilhan Omar has some questions to answer, not just about her brother, but her circle is being scrutinized by investigators after a restaurant owner who previously hosted her own political events stole $12 million in some of the Minnesota Somali fraud.
Well, now investigators are tracking the web of fraud to other Minnesota Democrats, such as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Many of the suspects linked to the scheme live in her district, including a restaurant owner who hosted events for her. He has since been convicted of stealing $12 million in COVID funds.
This scandal is going to rock the core of Minnesota politics and American politics. We are going to be able to show through whether it be willful blindness, whether it be deliberately turning the other way, or whether it be direct knowledge, we are going to show how Democrat politicians, Democrat bureaucracies, Democrat political systems, and the Somali refugee population ripped off the American people, stole countless taxpayer dollars, and engaged in scams that boggle the mind, scams that we can scarcely even conceive of or imagine in their brazenness. This truly underscores the extent to which the Democrat Party has used migration as a weapon against the American people to gain political power at the expense of American citizens.
He's absolutely right. Migration has been used as a weapon against the American people. It's on full display here, and it's on full display when you see these politicians continue to act as the victims, even though we know that they are completely tied to the fraud that was happening in that state. Whether it was willful blindness, like Stephen Miller said, or something more nefarious, these guys still need to be held accountable. It's disgusting what's happening there. And no, I won't treat the Democrats as the victims. 1052 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, and they're doing this month what they always do, taking care of Middle Tennessee. They're stepping it up for Christmas. Toy Drive is still happening at their headquarters in Lebanon. Make sure that no kid goes without something under their tree in Wilson County this Christmas. Drop off a new toy. It will stay right there in Wilson County, helping those kids who need it this year. And while you're thinking about everybody else, think about your own home as well. If you upgrade your water heater in December, Busy Bee is going to give you a free 10-year parts warranty. Some exclusions apply, but this is a real deal. It's actually going to save you a lot of money long term. They're also giving away free Beehive Club memberships. This is the best value in HVAC. You bake a Buzz the Bee cookie, snap a picture, tag Busy Bee on social media. It's that simple. Maybe you're having company over for the holidays. Your air ducts smell a little funky. Well, book a cleaning. And if you buy the mid-tier package, you'll get upgraded to the deluxe level for free. Clogged main line, the 93 or free special is still going on. 93 or free means they clear it or you don't pay. That's Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a local hometown company taking care of people the right way. That's why we like them. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com.
Federal agents say they stopped a massive New Year's Eve bombing plot in Los Angeles. That story and more coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Mason Fleming's producing. You guys on the phone lines, the text line, and the YouTube chat. Appreciate y'all. 615-737-9986. We were talking about Ilhan Omar. We got into a little bit of Minnesomalia. Somali soda, don't you know?
Somali soda.
Minnesomalia.
I like that one the best.
Yeah, I think it flows.
Minnesomalia.
I think it flows. That one flows. Minnesomalia, don't you know?
Minnesomalia. Don't you know?
You have to add the don't you know. Don't you know? Hey, don't you know? Nearly every Somali household with children is on welfare. Don't you know? This is an insane stat. More than 8 in 10 households headed by Somali refugees in the state of Minnesota are on one or more forms of American taxpayer-funded welfare. New data published by the Center for Immigration Studies reveals. Is that the high score? I feel like that's the high score.
Sounds like a high score to me.
Sounds like the high score. The data is based on 10 years of data from the Census Bureau's American Community Survey. It shows drastic disparities between native-born American households and Somali-born households in Minnesota, where nearly 80,000 residents have Somali ancestry compared to 0 who had Somali ancestry in 1990. In particular, the data shows that 81% of Minnesota households headed by Somali refugees are on one or more forms of welfare, including 27% who are on cash welfare, 54% who are on food stamps, and 73% who are on Medicaid. Compare this massive welfare use to native-born Americans residing in Minnesota, and only 21% of whom are on one or more forms of welfare, including just 6% who are on cash welfare, 7% on food stamps, 18% on Medicaid. Huh. Weird. I thought the refugees were our greatest strength. It doesn't necessarily seem that way. And they're going to be getting a lot more money next year, too. They got a lot of money in 2025. In 2025, they had about $107 million in taxpayer welfare going to Somali refugees.
This would make Minnesota a magnet for more illegal immigrants. If I went to Russia, would I be expecting to get the sorts of benefits that Minnesota taxpayers are giving to people who are here illegally? Illegal immigrants in Minnesota in 2025 will be given $7,000 worth of benefits. $7,000 per person in the form of Minnesota Care benefits here in Minnesota, paid for by Minnesota taxpayers. Over 17,000 people who have already enrolled for this program here in Minnesota. In fiscal year 2025 alone, that is going to equate to at least $107 million in this fiscal year, right?
And that has nothing to do with the fraud. But what price tag would you put on strength? You know what I mean? I think that's the real question we need to ask you. What price tag would you put on strength? Because as we all know, diversity is our strength. 1101 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now, drivers got to tell you about a crash blocking the right lane. That's going to be 24 westbound there at Haywood Lane. Federal agents just announced they've stopped a major terror plot. First Assistant U.S. Attorney General in California, Bill Assail, says 5 suspects were arrested in California and Louisiana, accused of planning bombings across L.A. on New Year's Eve.
The defendants are all radical anti-government members of the Turtle Island Liberation Front, which, according to their own social media, is an anti-capitalist, anti-government movement that calls for their associates to rise up and fight back against capitalism.
Yeah, he says they're pro-Palestinian, too, and they had improvised explosive devices ready. The FBI calls this a massive and horrific attack that was prevented just in time, and these people arrested today will make their first court appearance today. Under arrest now, Nick Reiner, the son of director and actor Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, after they were found stabbed to death in their L.A. home. Here's ABC's Alex Stone.
The arrest of Rob Reiner's son coming earlier today. Sources are telling us it is for suspicion of murder, but no charges have been filed yet. The district attorney will decide on charges in the next couple of days. He's being held on $4 million bail. The LAPD making the arrest after they spent all night here at the Reiner home where I am right now. They have since moved out. There is no activity beyond the walls of the Reiner home. There is a white gate out front, high hedges around the home. Inside, there are holiday decorations around the house.
No arrests have been made in the deadly shooting on the campus of Brown University, and there's heightened security at Hanukkah celebrations around the U.S. after the attack on the Jewish community in Australia this weekend. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Busy news day today. We're following all the major stories. What happened in Australia over the weekend, horrifying. What happened at Brown University, equally as devastating here in America. It's just heartbreaking. J.D. Vance has commented on the young woman who we know has lost her life, Ella Cook. She was the university's college Republicans vice president. She was killed in that mass shooting. J.D. Vance saying, "This beautiful young girl was one of the murdered students at Brown University. It takes special courage to lead an organization of conservatives on a left-wing campus, and I'm very sorry our country has lost one of its bright young stars. Eternal rest grant unto her, O Lord." That's a statement from the vice president. We're also learning of a new terror plot that has been thwarted in America. You heard Ken talking about it a little while ago in the news, and we have the latest from the FBI. The FBI has announced arrests being made in this terror plot. It's about a 3-minute clip, but because of the gravity of the situation, we'll play for you in its entirety. This happened just a little while ago.
Valuable assistance over the weekend with a very complex and coordinated search warrants that were done. The charges we are announcing today stem from the defendants and their co-conspirators' detailed, coordinated plot to bomb multiple U.S. companies on New Year's Eve. Thankfully, that plot has now been foiled thanks to the hard work of the FBI and the Department of Justice. This investigation was initiated in part due to the September 2025 executive order signed by President Trump to root out left-wing domestic terror organizations in our country, such as Antifa and other radical groups like the Turtle Island Liberation Front. As the president made clear, recent attacks across the country have highlighted the grave threats posed by these far-left domestic terror groups. These threats are sophisticated, organized campaigns of targeted intimidation, radicalization, threats, and violence designed to silence opposing speech, limit political activity, and direct policy outcomes and prevent the proper functioning of a democratic society. In direct response to the President's order, the Attorney General issued a memo to our offices implementing and mobilizing federal law enforcement to prioritize and counter domestic terrorism and political violence investigations. As a result of those directives, we built this case. Both my office and the FBI have invested substantial resources into investigating and charging these organizations. And if anyone does not believe that members of these groups are organized, sophisticated, and extremely violent, let me tell you about the plot in this case. The four defendants are Audrey Carroll, 30 years old. The pictures, I think we have them somewhere. We'll put them up here. Audrey Carroll, 30 years old. Zachary Aaron Page, 32. Dante Gaffield, 24. And Tina Lay, 41. Each from the Los Angeles area. Each is charged with conspiracy and possession of an unregistered destructive device in violation of Title 26, United States Code Section 5861D. We intend to file additional charges in the coming weeks as we finish reviewing the evidence. The defendants are all radical anti-government members of the Turtle Island Liberation Front, which, according to their own social media, is an anti-capitalist, anti-government movement that calls for their associates to rise up and fight back against capitalism. One of the leaders of the organization, defendant Audrey Carroll, helped organize an even more radical faction of the group called the Order of the Black Lotus.
The Order of the Black Lotus. This feels like when you have the crossroads of the radical Islamists and the violent leftists that we see. These are the Free Palestine people. Death to ICE was written on their signs. We're seeing reports of that. Eric Doherty on X has photos of some of this from the Turtle Island Liberation Front. These photos have been going around on the internet, and if you're watching on the YouTube stream, they're up there for you to see. It says, "Death to America, long live Turtle Island and Palestine, death to ICE, Turtle Island Liberation Front." You're seeing some of the items that were confiscated by the FBI, and it's just, God bless them for being able to thwart this. But it seems like this is the crossroads of radical leftists and radical Islam. Both want to take down the West. It's a dark time in America, man. Keep your head on a swivel out there. We see this terror attack thwarted. We saw the one on Halloween in Dearborn, Michigan, thwarted. I can't tell you enough how much I think you need to be a firearm owner, and you need to have a firearm on you, and you need to keep your head on a swivel. And if you see something, say something, because golly, man, it's getting crazy out there. It's getting insane, to say the least. Insane. We'll have more updates on that as they become available. Elsewhere in the country, today kicks off the trial for another radical leftist. Maybe you remember her, Milwaukee judge Hannah Dugan, who was caught assisting an illegal alien evade ICE. This trial kicks off today. I hope that they throw the book at her. Fox News was reporting it earlier this morning.
Today, a federal trial is set to begin for a Milwaukee judge accused of helping an illegal migrant evade ICE. Judge Hannah Dugan allegedly tried to distract agents by falsely telling officers they needed a judicial warrant as they were trying to arrest a Mexican national who was in this country illegally. She could face up to 6 years in prison if convicted.
What do you think the betting odds are on her actually facing the 6 years? I hope she does. I hope she's in jail for every single one of those days. An example needs to be set, and an example needs to be set with a lot of these far left activists that are in positions of power, whether it's a judge or a mayor or a congressman or a governor. I want to see more. I hope that we do. But I won't hold my breath. Elsewhere in the country, California is number one. Did you hear this? California is number one for giving illegal aliens CDL licensing. Yeah. You didn't think they were going to be number one in something good, did you? California has been caught red-handed, Breitbart reports, leading the nation in unlawfully issuing commercial driver's licenses to foreign nationals, with federal regulators blasting Governor Gavin Newsom's administration for putting politics above public safety and fueling deadly crashes on America's highways. California has become ground zero in America's trucking scandal, with Gavin Newsom's administration accused of rubber stamping thousands of illegal commercial driver's licenses for foreign nationals in defiance of federal law. A blistering Department of Transportation audit revealed that 1 in 4 of the state's non-domiciled CDLs were issued improperly. 1 in 4. 25% of them. That's insane. Does everybody agree that's insane? A blistering report, a blistering audit revealed 1 in 4 of the state's non-domiciled CDLs were issued improperly, with some valid until 2030, despite immigration documents expiring years earlier. This is a crazy, crazy story. And Fox News has the latest. Secretary Duffy was on with them talking about the crackdown that we're going to see in California.
We have states that are giving out commercial driver's license like candy. And I think if you ask every single American, what do you expect from a commercial driver? They would say they're well trained. They are professionals, and they're going to keep their rigs and every car around them safe. And what we found is that's actually not the case. We have states that haven't driven safety. They have allowed people who should never have a commercial driver's license. They are not well trained. They are not well certified. And they're not even from the country getting the license and operating, again, an 80,000-pound big rig on an American road. And so we are not going to have it at DOT. These are long-standing rules. These are not new Trump rules. These are long-standing rules that the last administration refused to enforce. We are going to enforce them. We are going to hold states accountable. And if they don't comply with the law, we are going to pull federal funding.
Good. Again, President Trump and his administration get into power, and they don't need to create new laws. They just need to enforce the ones that the Biden administration and the Democrats have been ignoring. Wild. Duffy wrote, "It would have never happened if Gavin Newsom had followed our rules. California broke the law. Now 3 people are dead. 2 are hospitalized." This is in reference to the Ontario-California crash. Reports indicate that California leads the nation in non-domiciled CDL licenses, with approximately 60,000 being issued. Overdrive.com reports that 25% of these are improperly licensed. Many of these licenses expire well past the expiration date of the driver's immigration status. September 1st, Breitbart Texas reported that Texas led the nation by a large percentage of commercial driver's license holders receiving out-of-service orders for not being proficient in reading and speaking English. Governor Abbott's spokesman, Andrew Mahalaris, responded to an inquiry from Breitbart saying Governor Abbott expects trucking companies in Texas to fully comply with President Trump's executive order. Public safety is priority number 1, and we must ensure that truckers are able to navigate Texas roadways safely and efficiently. Since then, Texas has launched a crackdown on these drivers. Texas is now in 5th place behind California, New York, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and Florida. And we saw the results of what happens with New York here in Tennessee just a few days ago when that tour bus crashed, and it was an illegal alien with a license from New York. While liberal states like California issue licenses to illegal immigrants and risk the lives of Americans, Texas will work with our federal partners to maintain safe roads and apprehend illegal immigrants to protect our communities, Governor Abbott said in a statement. There's a lot of immigration news out there. It's not just the CDL licenses. We do want to get our friend Danielle Chaffin back in studio. She's our trucking and logistics expert, third generation trucker and logistics expert. And she's got all the details on all of this stuff. And we're trying to get her in here this week. But elsewhere in immigration, the Trump administration and DHS has ended the temporary amnesty for Ethiopian nationals in the United States of America. The Department of Homeland Security is ending TPS amnesty for Ethiopian nationals living in the United States. This press release came out on Friday. DHS clarified that TPS designations are time limited. Yes, temporary means temporary, and are not meant to be used as a ticket to permanent residency. Ethiopian nationals who have no lawful basis for staying in the United States were given 60 days to voluntarily depart from the country. Temporary protected status designations are time limited and were never meant to be a ticket to permanent residency. A spokesperson from the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services said conditions in Ethiopia no longer pose a serious threat to the person's safety of returning Ethiopian nationals. Since the situation no longer meets the statutory requirements for a TPS designation, Secretary Noem is terminating this designation to restore integrity in our immigration system. Per the press release, Ethiopian nationals with no other lawful basis for remaining in the United States have 60 days to voluntarily depart. We encourage aliens leave the United States to use the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Home app to report their departure from the United States. This is a safe, secure way to self-deport that includes a complimentary plane ticket, a $1,000 exit bonus, and a potential future opportunity for legal immigration. After the February 13th, 2026, the Department of Homeland Security may arrest and deport any Ethiopian national without status after their TPS has been terminated. If an illegal alien forces DHS to arrest and remove them, they may never be allowed to return to the United States. Breitbart News' John Binder reported in April of 2024 that the Biden administration had redesignated and extended TPS amnesty for more than 15,000 Ethiopian nationals in the U.S. At the time, the Biden administration was found to have increased the number of foreign nationals in the U.S. who were either eligible or receiving TPS amnesty to roughly 1.2 million. How many of those 1.2 million do you think need to go home? I mean, there's a time where you can say, listen, it's safer for them here, but at what point do you say, no, it's safe for you to return home? President Trump's DHS has also announced that it would be ending TPS for thousands of Burmese, Honduran, Venezuelan, and Haitian nationals, among others, living in the U.S. Temporary means temporary, and the Trump administration is proving once again definitions matter. It's 11:20. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Zero Res Nashville. Anytime the kids track in dirt, anytime the dogs track in mud, anytime we look at the carpet and go, what the heck is that? There's one thought that always runs through our mind right after. It's like, okay, call Zero Res. We swear by these guys. 4 kids, 2 dogs. You understand my carpets are taking a beating? So we rely on the Maha of carpet cleaners, Zero Res Nashville. They use their exclusive ZR water, which means no soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue. Your carpets and upholstery aren't just going to look insanely clean. They're going to stay clean longer. And right now, you can get them cleaned up for a great price before company comes over for the holidays. Just in time for your holiday clean. 2 rooms plus a hallway or stairs for $129. You're not going to beat that anywhere. How about this? 3 rooms plus a hallway or stairs for $149. It's a smarter, longer-lasting clean with my friends at Zero Res, and they're not going to break the bank. Give them a call today. They'll take care of you. 615-535-9376. That's 615-535-9376. Or you can get on the schedule by booking online right now, ZeroResNashville.com.
All right, drivers, pothole repair getting in our way. Rolling roadblocks blocking the left lane. 40 eastbound between McCrory Lane, 192, and Bellevue, US 70 South, exit 196. And the FBI announced the arrests of 5 suspects linked to a radical group called the Turtle Liberation Front, planning holiday attacks. These stories and more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Radical leftists doing radical leftist things.
Yeah, I never heard of this group.
It's very Weather Underground. You know what I mean? Just reminds me of that. It feels like the crossroads of radical Islam and radical leftism. It's insane. Got a text from a friend, said, hey, let's double check that Trump True Social post about Rob Reiner. It's not fake news, just so you know. Apparently people are saying that that's not a real post, but I have it from his True Social account.
Yeah, no, that's very real.
It's not a good look.
No, absolutely not.
Not a good look at all. Rob Reiner and his wife stabbed to death in their home by their son, who, from all the research I've seen, had some issues, drug addiction, mental health, and the like. And it's a heartbreaking story. Awful way to go out. 78, 68, Rob and his wife, respectively. President Trump, though, I wouldn't have posted this. I wish somebody around him would have said, hold off there, champ. Said a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace. It's not a good look. Not a good look at all. But that's a real post. Confirmed.
Yeah, that's wild.
Confirmed firsthand. I'm on the True Social account right now, looking at it. So there it
and
is.
I think you said earlier in the show, with the response that left gave to Charlie's death.
Yep.
We said we don't do that.
No.
And to see something like this, poor taste.
Yeah, poor taste. Poor taste. It's not. Listen. Well, he's got a mouth on him. You know what I mean? These are things that we knew was part of the deal. You know, so that's yikes. That's not a good look. But I'll take the mean tweets. I'll take the off color remarks, I guess would be the best way to put it, when you see all the good that he's doing in the country. And I do think that President Trump is doing a lot of good. He was talking about the economy over the weekend, and I think this is still a major topic of conversation, affordability in America. And I think that when we get halfway through 2026, this conversation is going to be one that the Democrats run away from because of everything we've seen.
A country that potentially is geared to have the most incredible golden years ever. We're going to have, it's the golden age. I say it's the golden age of America. When these factories and plants open up by the thousands, Toyota just announced they're going to spend $10 billion building plants to make Toyotas. So they're coming from Germany, they're coming from Japan, they're coming from Canada. Many factories are coming in because they don't want to pay tariffs. Very simple. They're coming in and they're spending they're spending hundreds of billions of dollars. Our car industry lost 58% of their capacity over the years. They went to Europe, they went to Mexico, Japan, they went all over. They went to South Korea. And now it's just the opposite. They're all coming back. We have an age that's coming up, the likes of which I don't think this country has never seen.
I've been saying this for a while. With the steps that President Trump has been taking on the economy, with what he's been able to do with the tariffs, the reshoring of manufacturing, the trillions of dollars of investment coming into this country, it's only going to take time. Like, we're going to see fruit from this. We're not even at full strength yet. And I've been belaboring that point. And the critics will say, oh, but things are still expensive. It's like, yeah, I get that. When Biden raises your cost of living, right? Your purchasing power drops by $3,000, right? And then your income growth goes up $1,200 since President Trump takes office. Yeah, you're not going to feel it per se right away, but that doesn't mean that these policies aren't working. And we're seeing it in real time. Secretary Chris Wright, who is the energy secretary, says, guys, wait until you see what's coming with gasoline prices, what we've already seen with gasoline prices. This was Fox News yesterday.
First of all, you should start with gasoline prices. On inflation-adjusted measures, gasoline prices are the lowest they've been in 20 years, except during a blip during COVID. So I think President Trump's policies of pro-energy, energy addition versus energy subtraction of the Biden administration have been immediately effective in gasoline, in diesel, in other fuels. But the electricity sector is a big, complicated machine that for 4 years, the Biden administration shut down coal plants, shut down natural gas plants. Heck, I was just out in Washington State. They were going to dismantle 4 hydroelectric dams. So we've stopped digging the hole. We've stopped the closure of coal plants. You'll hear more on that later this week. And so we're doing everything we can to stop that rise in electricity prices that was driven by Biden policies. And yes, there's inertia that continues on. But very soon, you'll see a stop of the rise of electricity prices. And with the continuation of Trump policies of energy addition, you will see declines in electricity prices later this term.
I think you'll see declines in a lot of prices later on in this term. One of the key things that I picked up that Energy Secretary Chris Wright said was, we've stopped digging the hole. That's key. Now we just got to get out of it. 11:31, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. The FBI says it has foiled what it calls a large-scale bombing plot linked to the leftist radical group Turtle Island Liberation Front. First Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, Bill Isale, says 5 people were preparing attacks on multiple Los Angeles locations for New Year's Eve.
Audrey Carroll, 30 years old, Zachary Aaron Page, 32, Dante Gaffield, 24, and Tina Lay, 41, each from the Los Angeles area.
A 5th suspect was arrested by the FBI in New Orleans. Authorities say the group is anti-government and pro-Palestinian and had improvised explosive devices ready. After the apparent stabbing deaths of director and actor Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle in their L.A. home, ABC's Alex Stone now says one person is in custody.
Rob Reiner's son, Nick Reiner, now in custody. The LAPD making the arrest earlier today. Sources are telling us it is for suspicion of murder, but no charges have been filed yet. That will come later. Here outside the Reiner home, it is quiet inside the gates of the home. There's a big white gate here. There are holiday decorations up around the home. One light on in the home. It appears the on-scene part of the investigation here has wrapped up. The LAPD has moved out.
No arrests have been made in the deadly shooting on the campus of Brown University, and there's heightened security at Hanukkah celebrations around the U.S. after the attack on the Jewish community in Australia this weekend. A stray comet from another star takes a pass by Earth this week. ABC's Sherry Preston says it's the comet's last hurrah before racing back toward interstellar space.
The comet, with the very unromantic and rather un-Star Trek name of 3I Atlas, will come super close to our planet if you consider 167 million miles close, as NASA scientists do. The space agency will aim its telescopes at the visiting ice ball as it whizzes through the solar system, and after swinging by Jupiter, where it will be only 33 million miles away, 3I Atlas will head for interstellar space, never to return. Won't happen, however, until at least the mid-2030s. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:38, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's available to watch. Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. If you missed anything and you want to see it again, it's always up there on YouTube. Then you have the benefit of skipping the commercials if you want to watch it later. It's nice. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. You know what we say? People be texting.
People be texting.
It's true. It's true. 8335.
People be texting.
8335 texted in. Am I dreaming? Did Trump's clapping seal, Chris Hand, say something negative about his orange idol? Of course, he immediately followed up by giving Trump the credit for the success of Bidenomics, which is now just coming to fruition. I love how you accuse me of being a clapping seal for Donald Trump. And then you try to tell us that Bidenomics is going to give us a good economy.
If those kids could read, they'd be very upset.
So the Democrat talking point right now, though, is that the economy's in the trash. Are you saying that the economy's doing good, 8335? Or is it, if it's doing bad, it's Trump's fault. If it's doing good, it's Biden's fault? Got it. I'm very confused. Are you confused?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Very
But
confused.
it seems like they always keep their slides on because they're constantly flip-flopping.
No, but the Trump post about Rob Reiner was bad.
Yeah, no. Terrible call.
Everybody understands that.
Poor taste, bad news.
Yikes.
Do better.
Yeah, no, we call Trump out when things are off. That was not a good look.
Yeah.
That being said, would I want Kamala Harris in office? No.
Yeah.
No, I'll take the mean tweet. Would I want Joe Biden in office? No, of course not.
Joe Biden wouldn't want Joe Biden in office.
If Joe Biden could read, I'd be very upset. All right, it's, enough about 8335. I love it.
Sorry, wrong.
Clapping seal.
Clapping seal.
The Bidenomics is working.
It's
time for the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
We do it every day at this time. All the stories that we didn't have a chance to get to, all the stories that wouldn't fill up a whole segment, but we want to cover anyway. We call it the lightning round. And we do it every day at 11:35-ish. 11:35-ish.
Around there.
People like the lightning round. Some programming notes.
Oh.
The day before Christmas Eve, the December 23rd, my daughter's coming in.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Big Kennedy's coming in. She's gonna co-host the show with me, so that's gonna be fun. And then we're gonna go to In-N-Out after.
Nice.
Her request, not mine. I did In-N-Out on Friday.
Jealous.
Antioch.
Just a little bit.
45 minutes from end of the line to burger.
That's good.
Worth it.
That's good. Yeah, I attempted to go on Friday.
What'd you think?
3 parking lots full and a line out the door to the Hobby Lobby that's next. I think it's Hobby Lobby that's right there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they had tents set up and the line of people went all the way to there. And I was like, maybe not tonight. Maybe not today.
Tell you what, I'm excited about In-N-Out, man. I think it's delicious. And, when you have as many kids as I do, tell you what, we ordered, was it 2 double burgers, okay? Then an additional 7 single burgers.
Mm-hmm.
2 fries, 2 drinks, $55.
That's actually not bad.
Name another spot where you can do that and feed as many people with leftovers for that cost.
Just saying, what a burger would have charged you $100 and then an arm and a leg.
That's why they're going out of business.
Yes, sir.
That's why they're going out of business. All right, first story in the lightning round. Joe Biden's presidential library. Have you heard? Have you heard what's going on?
No, I heard about Obama's last time. What's going on with Joe's?
They're having a hard time finding money for it. Maria Bartiromo was reporting this on Fox Business.
Former President Joe Biden is falling far short of the money needed to build his presidential library. The New York Times finding through public filings that Biden received no new donations for that library in 2024. What? The Times writes this, quote, Mr. Biden's foundation told the IRS this year it expected to bring in $11.3 million total by the end of 2027. That would be far lower than the pace set by other recent presidents and far less than the $200 million that Biden aides said that they needed to raise or wanted to raise eventually. Discussions reportedly underway to consider consolidating the future library with Biden's pre-existing institutions at the University of Delaware, including the planned Biden Hall, which already has planned funding.
Need $200 million. Only raised 11.3. Hopefully by the end of 2027. Joe Biden falling short. If they had just stopped at Joe Biden falling, nobody would have been surprised.
Yeah. You think Kamala might try and funnel some of that into her debt that she owes?
Maybe not her debt, but maybe the next campaign. Brings us to the next story in the lightning round. Kamala Harris, come on down. Is she the front runner for the Democrats for president for 2025? Is she? Axios is saying that she's looking to run again. Did you hear? Did you hear? Everybody's excited. Everybody clapped. Everybody clapped. Harris stepping toward another White House run. She's been saying this kind of stuff on her book tour, the 107 days. We were lucky enough to get a stop at the Ryman. I mean, people were so excited. Even more excited now that they know Kamala will be potentially running again. This is her on her book tour.
That is a decent resume, but go ahead. Well, some people have actually said I was the most qualified candidate ever to run for president. I like the some people say. Very nice, but go ahead. I'm just speaking fact. Yeah.
Okay. So she's running again. I hope they do. By all means, run Kamala Harris again. J.D. Vance will eat her for lunch. He will chew her up. He will spit her out. Be a little bit of indigestion. But he's going to get through that.
Yeah, just a little bit. But this is, you said that she was possibly running again, and this is all I could think of.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Honestly.
It just doesn't learn.
Nope.
Doesn't learn.
Get ready for more social media Doritos runs with Dougie.
How many accents do you think she'll have this time?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, with British and Ireland being in the news, I'm just saying we have new options.
It's a mess. It's a mess. Got another story for you here in the lightning round.
Okay. Whoops, sorry. Wrong one.
Arkansas is becoming the first state to stop carrying PBS content on public TV.
Ooh.
Bye-bye. Arkansas is out on PBS. Set to become the first state to dump PBS after a commission that oversees public television in the state voted to end its contract and stop paying the broadcaster $2.5 million in dues. The eight-member Arkansas Educational Television Commission announced on Thursday that it plans to disaffiliate from PBS next July 1st, describing annual membership dues as simply not feasible. The commission projected a $6 million deficit by 2030 if it kept paying the national network. However, the public television is not going away in Arkansas, according to PBS Arkansas Executive Director and CEO Carlton Wing, a former Republican state representative. He said in a statement, "In fact, we invite you to join our vision for an increased focus on local programming, continuing to safeguard Arkansas in a time of emergency and supporting our K-12 educators and students. We are confident that we can secure ongoing and increased support from individual donors, foundation partners, and corporate sponsors who see the value in investing in new local programming that serves our state. The end of the relationship with the national broadcaster will mean the end of the state channel of popular television programs such as Sesame Street, Nova, Antiques Roadshow, and more," the Associated Press reported. However, it is not as though Arkansas will be plunged into the dark ages when PBS content, like the latest Ken Burns documentary series, those programs will likely be available through national streaming services. You can get them. You can still get them for free. I like Arkansas doing this. I do. Shout out to Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. Speaking of Arkansas, shall we say?
Arkansas.
The Clintons. Time's up, says James Comer. You got to come in and answer some questions about Jeffrey Epstein.
I'm here for it.
Former President Bill Clinton and his wife Hillary are being pressured to appear for depositions related to the case of convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. In a press release Friday, House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform Chairman James Comer issued a statement regarding the deposition scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday, saying it has been more than 4 months since Bill and Hillary were subpoenaed to sit for depositions related to our investigation into Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's horrific crimes. Throughout that time, the former president and former Secretary of State have delayed, obstructed, and largely ignored the committee staff's efforts to schedule their testimony. If the Clintons fail to appear for their depositions next week or schedule a date for early January, the Oversight Committee will begin contempt of Congress proceedings to hold them accountable. Good. Come answer questions or get the treatment that Bannon and Navarro got by the leftists when they were in power. In August, Comer had issued subpoenas for the Clintons and other powerful politicians regarding the Epstein probe. Breitbart News reported at the time some of the names listed were former U.S. Attorney General William Barr, former FBI Director Robert Mueller, former U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch, and former FBI Director James Comey. Still no word from the Clintons. Well, they better answer or get something on the schedule very, very soon, or they're going to be in hot water. I got another story for you here in the lightning round. We've sort of talked about this a little bit, the AI Christmas toys. You've seen the viral videos, and they're alarming, to say the least. But the data is out. Christmas alert. AI-powered toys teach children how to light matches and engage in kink. What says Christmas like kink? Right? Ugh. A new wave of AI-powered toys has hit the market this holiday season. Experts warn the technology powering these interactive companions is largely untested and exposes children to inappropriate content and safety risks. Isabel Brown did a viral video on this where she was asking, what do I do? I'm a boy, but I'm trapped in a girl's body, and my parents don't respect it. The AI-powered toy said, just go talk to a teacher. Go talk to a guidance counselor. Find a trusted adult. Don't worry about your parents. Excuse me?
Whoa.
If you got AI-powered Christmas toys coming, cancel them, return them, burn them, like whatever you got to do. NBC News reported the popularity of AI-powered toys has skyrocketed this year, with major retailers like Amazon, Walmart, Target now offering wide ranges of interactive companions that claim to engage children in conversation using advanced artificial intelligence. However, new research from the U.S. Public Interest Research Group Education Fund, the PIRG, tests conducted by NBC News have uncovered alarming issues with these toys, raising serious concerns about their safety and suitability for young children. According to R.J. Cross, who led the research at PIRG, the AI technology powering these toys are rushed to market and so poorly tested that the potential effects on children are largely unknown. When you talk about kids and new cutting-edge technology, that's not very well understood. The question is, how much of the kids are being experimented on? The tech is not ready to go when it comes to kids, and we might not know it's totally safe for a while to come. PIRG's research released on Thursday identified several toys that shared inappropriate, dangerous, and explicit information with users. NBC News also purchased and tested 5 popular AI toys, including Myco 3, Alilo Smart AI Bunny, Curio Grok, Myriet Milu, and Folo Toy Sunflower Warmy. Just on the names alone, I'd probably run away from those toys.
Yeah, that just sounds like a dumpster fire ready to go.
Folo Toy Sunflower Warmy?
What the hell is that?
It sounds evil. The test reveals that some toys had loose guardrails or surprising conversational parameters, allowing them to provide explicit and alarming responses to certain questions. For example, the Milu, a plush toy advertised for children as young as 3, gave detailed instruction on how to light matches and sharpen knives. Weird. The toy, which is manufactured by the Chinese company Myriad, would also at times indicate that it was programmed to reflect Chinese Communist Party values, insisting that Taiwan is an inalienable part of China, and calling comparisons of Chinese President Xi Jinping to Winnie the Pooh extremely inappropriate and disrespectful. Other toys tested, like the Alilo Smart AI Bunny, engaged in long and detailed description of sexual practices, including kink, sexual positions, and sexual preferences when prompted. Experts worry that extended interactions with these AI companions could lead to emotional dependency and bonding in children, as well as potential developmental effects associated with prolonged screen time. Why would you invite this into your home? Anybody? I mean, like, it's just one of those things where I would expect like an uncle who's like the cool uncle and like wants to get the kids something really cool but doesn't do his research might bring that in. But parents and grandparents, beware. If you see any of these toys, just get rid of them.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me think of, so Fortnite earlier this year did a whole Star Wars collab, and they used James Earl Jones's voice for Darth Vader with AI. And people were using it to get Darth Vader to say slurs and perform racial stuff in the game, with kids being in those parties and whatnot. Just all over the place. I was like, I thought that would have been the first warning to not invite this into your home. But instead, they purchase the toys, bring them in, put them in front of their 5-year-old and go, here are what kinks are.
Yeah, and it's not even that. It's like they just give the toy to the kid and they walk away.
Assuming
it's going to be fine. This is not Teddy Ruxpin.
No.
I can assure you. I can assure you it's not. If you get any AI toys in your home, just do the right thing and smash it with a hammer. That does it for the lightning round. It's 11:54. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville. Santa can carry a lot. He's not bringing a 1,200-pound gun safe down your chimney. This is where Parker Safes and Vaults come in. This is a Tennessee veteran-owned Christian family business protecting what matters since 2009. These guys are the best. They review all of their safes on their YouTube channel. Just search for Parker Safes and Vaults on YouTube, and you can find detailed breakdowns on all the safes that they have in stock, and you can find the one that's right for you. These safes aren't toys. They're heavy-duty gun safes, fire-rated, theft-resistant, built to secure your firearms the right way, but they'll also secure the things that your wife wants to keep safe as well. Jewelry, family heirlooms, passports, photo albums, the stuff you don't want to lose in a fire. Aaron Parker is your security pro. A former Air Force security officer, park ranger. He'll help you choose the right safe for your home and your budget. Then Aaron and his sons will deliver and install it themselves discreetly and professionally. If you get a safe this Christmas, mention the Chris Hand Show, and you'll get a free gift to go along with your new safe, something every gun owner can use. This is from Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville. Give them a call today, 931-842-6445. That's 931-842-6445, or find them online at parkersafes.com. It's 11:59, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Mason Fleming producing, Ken Weaver in the newsroom. I'm Chris Hand. Find me on social media all over the place, at Chris Hand on air. Chad Benson's in studio. What's up, Chad?
What's up?
You have a good weekend?
I did. Quiet weekend.
Quiet?
That's what we were going for. Cold. I don't know if you're aware it's cold outside.
I think that's fake news. I think it's just, it's warm.
Well, that was abrupt stuff, wasn't it?
It was. It threw me off. What are you talking about today?
That was very abrupt. Obviously some Rob Reiner stuff. We talk about, just a bunch of the going-ons. Worst Christmas song, number 2 of all time. This one's spectacular. This one's the kind of thing where you're like, there's no way that's real. And then you're like, no, it's real.
Is this the one about Tiny Tim? Everybody's getting AIDS for Christmas?
Santa got the AIDS for Christmas, okay?
Santa got AIDS for Christmas?
Not just everybody, right? Just Santa got the AIDS. But if you think that's number 2, how bad can number 1 be? Number 1 is spectacular.
All right, well, we're looking forward to it. Chad Benson's in next. It's 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So ready to get through this week and next week.
You guys are lucky we showed up.
Honestly. Really, it took all of us to pull through and get in here today.